I, Afam Josiah Osigwe,
Do solemnly
Afam
swear and
Osigwe,
affirm
a senior advocate of Nigeria, is the 32nd president of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA). He is assuming office at a crucial moment in the Nigerian judiciary when public confidence is at a record low. Osigwe has taken over from Yakubu Mekiao. Legal practitioners are a key part of the justice sector. They are the main players in the judicial system, and their actions or inaction determine the state of play. For starters, the all too familiar problem of conflicting judgments being a huge source of concern, the new NBA leadership should work with the leadership of the judiciary to begin the process of setting things aright.
Lawyers are the one taking the case to this court and getting these conflicting judgments. Afam Osigwe SAN is my hope. We'll be able to navigate as for what is the interest of lawyers in terms of their personal rewards for their professional advice and services and the public interest. What should be happening? Can we continue like this? No, we can't. We can't be getting judgment like we are going to market. You buy your own yam from Wuse Market, I buy my own from Mutako. No, we can't continue like that.
NJC disciplines the judges who sit over a matter and give sometimes interim injunctions. But there's someone who filed a case. A lawyer filed a case in the inappropriate place. What is the rationale for filing a case in Kano on a matter that originated from, maybe let's say, Edo? And the judge will sit down over that matter. If the NJC disciplines such a judge, then the lawyers who filed the case should not be spared.
Then there is the issue of discipline.
Lawyers taking money from their clients and not doing exactly what they promised their client they will do. In the States, that's what they call malpractice. And you can be sued, you can pay heavy fine, you can even be derobed, they can take away your license. So Afam Osigwe should bring, he's a disciplined lawyer. Everybody knows. So he should come to this bar, this new season of the bar, and make a difference.
Discipline is a very key factor in this equation. And I would say that the discipline is not only with regards to the bar, but there also has to be discipline for the bench as well. And you know, the new NBA administration is coming in at the same time, or almost, you know, at the same time as a new Chief Justice of Nigeria, or acting Chief Justice of Nigeria was sworn in. So there definitely is need for us to critically look at the sector in order to ensure that there's confidence, to restore public confidence in the administration of justice sector.
When our profession start taking us seriously, clients would of course take us seriously. Remuneration should be implemented right from the inside. If a law firm you cannot pay for the services of a lawyer, then there is no point. Be a solo legal practitioner. This is not me saying law firms don't face, you know, financial hardship. They don't have their own shortcomings as well. But I mean, engaging someone and paying the person the barest minimum, less than the minimum wage, doesn't make sense.
The Yakubu Mekiao era as NBA president was marked by bitter divisions within the association, with a group of lawyers wanting out following disagreement with his style of leadership. There is the issue of the Law Society, a rival to the NBA, that has cropped up. It is a subject of litigation. The task of unifying the NBA should therefore be a top priority in the immediate term.
Everybody is hopeful because he has followership. He has the goodwill of the bar. Majority of people voted for him. Those who voted that day voted for Afam Osigwe. So if they voted for him, because they believe in him. So we are hoping that he will use his extensive knowledge of the bar, both at the national and the sub-national, to foster unity.
We are always stronger together. And from a point of view of unity and of strength, the NBA is the only association that can actually do what it does as effectively as, you know, the country needs it to. You know, and so I would say that the president, the NBA president, Mr. Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and life bencher, has a huge task on his hands to reunite all the members of the bar.
You have to look at the bigger picture. NBA is bigger than anybody's interest. That's just it. It is bigger than my interest. I'm the vice chairman of my branch, but when it comes to, you know, the branch, I put my interest aside and ensure that just for the branch to move forward. So we need, you know, things that will move us forward.
These matters are in court. And I'm also representing a party in one of the matters. So I won't comment on it. But of course, Alpha Mosigwe is coming as a time that you need to unify the bar. Both those that are aggrieved with the NBA and those that are happy with the NBA. He is the president of NBA, so he has a lot in his hand to do.
Alpha Mosigwe has hit the ground running as the new president of the NBA. With his work well cut out, a fresh page of history has been handed to him, and the task of writing what he should be remembered for rests with him. Godfrey Eshamuge, Arise News.
Indeed, Alpha Mosigwe, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, does have his work cut out for him. Indeed, we were supposed to have had him in the studio to unpack these issues, but then, unfortunately, he is not available. But then, of course, not to worry, we have in the studio a lawyer, a seasoned lawyer, and a Rise News analyst, Mr. Frank Tietie, joining us to take a look at the issues arising from the annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. And from what we've just heard from there and from lawyers like you, it seems all is definitely not well with the body of lawyers in the country and legal practice generally. So let's start from the issue of indiscipline, because that seems to be very, very much on the front burner. How would you expect Mr. Osigwe, the senior advocate of Nigeria, to deal with this?
I think these are very bright times for the Nigerian Bar Association because of the personality of Alpha Mosigwe, on the grounds that this is a very experienced lawyer and a bar leader who doesn't run away from problems. In fact, he has a very robust history as chairman of the Unity Bar, that is the Nigerian Bar Association branch in Abuja here, where he displayed uncommon leadership in tackling issues, problems, whether individually or corporate problems. In that case, it doesn't come as a surprise in his inaugural speech that was actually frontal in dealing with the very many issues that are immediately actually affecting both the bar and the entire legal profession. So whatever the problems may be, it's like whether it's the business of law practice or the expectation of the Nigerian public or the lowering reputation of the judiciary at this time, Alpha Mosigwe actually dealt with all of those issues frontally. But when you say the issue of indiscipline generally, it has to do with the attitude of lawyers, and sometimes we think that there are a lot of problems associated with legal practice, particularly those lawyers who are involved in litigation, where there has been a lot of allegations of corruption in the system. Yes. I shy away from always addressing the issue of corruption because it is more with the officials of the court more than those who preside over the court, that is the judges, and it's clear for a certain reason. So I believe that it's time for attitudinal change, and I believe that Alpha Mosigwe will set that example and uphold that standard.
There are so many lawyers, and I mean everybody as individuals and professionals, they do come with their own baggage, and I guess that's why the issue of indiscipline is so much on the front burner. But then now talking about corruption in the judiciary, fingers are being pointed directly at the lawyers. Now let's start from the issue of bribing of judges. If the lawyers do not offer, the judges won't be taking. So how would that be addressed?
I've recently suffered a lot of criticism for taking a position that oftentimes excuses judges, in the sense that we don't have many proofs to show that judges actually collected bribes in the middle of the night. However, we know that those who give out bribes are the ones who go out advertising bribes, and only those who are able to pass on bribes to judges are the ones who are actually culpable here, because many times they collect those bribes and never also pass those bribes to the judges, because sometimes judgment comes as a result of permutation. You can do a very sound permutation and know that the outcome of a judgment, particularly in an election tribunal, would be this way, and then also go and ask for a bribe.
You said something very interesting here. Sometimes they collect the bribes, but they never pass them to the judges. Of course, it means that innately there is that corruption in the body
Yes,
of lawyers
and then
itself.
please and I always emphasize this, the criticism I receive is because I have pinned the issue of corruption in the judiciary as a matter of perception, not as a matter of empirical, analysis of actually catching some of these persons in the process. But do not shy away from it, and let's not generalize it. If you say lawyers are the ones who collect bribes and pass it on to judges, what kind of lawyers? Are they senior lawyers? Are they senior advocates of Nigeria? Are they lawyers involved in political cases? So these are kind of questions, not generally all lawyers, because we have lawyers in various spheres of the Nigerian
naturally,
economy.
one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, right? And gives the entire profession a very bad name.
Indeed. But you see, the good thing about it is this. And that's why I like the fact that we're talking about Afam Osigwe, who himself did not run away from the issue. He stated it clearly that the public perception of the judiciary at this time as a corrupt institution is an all-time low. However, the bar needs to now cooperate by shaping that perception. In his speech, he referred to the fact that there will be now a sort of analysis of certain appellate court decisions in order for the bar to align with them. So it doesn't matter how much anybody holds the opinion that this is a corrupt judgment. Once the bar decides that this is a sound judgment according to proper jurisprudence, it stands by it. So I think the bar needs to be on the positive side in constantly affirming that the judgments that come from our court are sound and not necessarily following this bandwagon effect that Nigerian judiciary is altogether corrupt.
Absolutely. Well, then let's look at the issue of lack of discipline, lack of unity, and then we're talking about conflicting judgments and consequently, congestion of the courts. So you access justice, but then you can't exit justice because the courts are congested. Where would you place the blame for the state of affairs, and how would the Afam Osigwe-led NBA address this?
You see, because Afam Osigwe is a very progressive personality on his own, given his history, he is someone who will deal with every problem that he encounters. But we must bear at the back of our mind that he has just 2 years, and that amount of time is actually not enough for him to deal with many issues. If you're talking about issues of unity, I think we should forget about it, because as lawyers, we are, we tend to be more focused on what is rather than what ought to be. So we can have our various aspirations as a result of persons who have over-politicized bar issues, which ought not to be. The Nigerian Bar Association is about service not only to Nigerians, not only to lawyers, but to entire Nigeria. So we should look at a situation where we come together naturally, normally, because if you look at the problems facing this country now, I can tell you with all sense of confidence that there is the only body that can provide solutions in nearly all spheres of our political life is the NBA. So the NBA must now, and lawyers must now wake up to now be giving, what I call, prescriptive positions on all national issues. And I think that is what is uppermost in the hands of Afam Osigwe right now. And he didn't shy away from it. And that's the reason why you started by setting up certain committees and inviting certain individuals to address issues of injustice, human rights abuses, or corruption in judiciary, or and issues of development in general. So I do not expect that lawyers who are in the course of trying to form parallels, of course they have the right to do all of those
well,
things.
Of course, because that's one question I would even have liked to raise: the presence of the Law Society versus the Nigerian Bar Association.
It doesn't matter at all. You see, we have a Legal Practitioners Act that recognizes a body of lawyers, and we have other institutions based in the law that the NBA cannot be challenged. The position of the NBA with regards to the body of lawyers in Nigeria cannot be challenged. However, if any group wants to set up a form society of lawyers, they are very free and they should be allowed to do so. But when it comes to the statutory responsibility of a body of lawyers, I don't think the position of the NBA can be contested, and so that shouldn't be an issue. And nobody should feel threatened when any group of persons. What we should be afraid of, and which I think has been cured for a long time, is this idea of either polarizing the NBA on either ethnic or regional lines. But we've seen that master stroke of the NBA in the way it rotates its presidency. I can always tell the rest of this the world that in Nigeria, the NBA holds the hope for how to do proper governance. Look at the way it organizes the elections. Seamless, you know, with application of technology, high level, you know, electronic voting. You never see anybody complaining. And then it's the same thing when you have, you know, disgruntled elements from all forms of region. They addressed all of that.
All right. I mean, I happened to take a peek into the issues that arose from the NBA National Conference, the issue of globalization of legal services, and that seems to be generating some conflict among lawyers. Of course, there are those who said, look, we can't allow lawyers from foreign countries to come and practice in our courts. And there are others who are saying, but we Nigerian lawyers have offices in other countries and we actually practice in their courts too. So globalization of legal services, that's the way forward, isn't it?
You know, that threatens, you know, you see, the problem there is that it threatens the earning power, the economy of Nigerian lawyers.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you see, there are rules that govern, you know, mutual legal practices across the various, you know, jurisdictions. After all, so it depends. So you just can't go to any other country and practice as a lawyer. The same way it should be very difficult for you to practice in Nigeria. However, there are rules that guide the way other law firms can actually engage, you know, local law firms for collaborative purposes in order to solve issues. So again, we're looking forward to a situation where we can have, you know, arrangements that will protect the interest of the legal business. But hey, let's face it, this legal business we're talking about has been captured by a very small few lawyers up there. So so the issue of welfare comes to the front burner in the sense that what happens to the normal lawyer that is trying to grow, trying to establish a practice here in Abuja or in Lagos?
All right.
How do you protect his interest? Those are the issues we should be dealing with.
Absolutely. So I think that's a very appropriate place to lay to rest this issue. I think we'll be having further discussions on this as time goes on. But I'd like to thank you so very much, Frank Tietie, legal practitioner and Arise News in-house legal analyst. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Dean.